So I'm deciding to present this way because of a Masoe hangover day and it's Thursday and it's not to spring break, and I thought I'm going to be way too lazy the week before spring break to actually make all of this and do all of this. Plus too busy, there's choir concert, different stuff like that. So I'm presenting via a video, and I'm going to talk through and kind of show you some of the steps that I take, including the ingredients, the rationale, scope, sequence, all of those things having to do with my first attempt at making croissants. Just so you know, it is probably awkward that I'm also standing here while also talking to you, so I'm just going to, for a boost of my own ego, give myself a high five. Alright, so now that that's over, let's talk about ingredients. Well, actually, edit that out. Let's talk about the project itself, so the scope, the sequence, and different rationale. So, as I've maybe shared with you all before, the instrumental reason I'm learning this is because croissants have kind of a very meaningful purpose and a meaningful part of my past. So there's a little bit of a connection to the past and also a connection to the present and future. They are like my favorite baked good thing. I've never made them before. So that's part of the reason why I want to do croissants. There are a lot of concepts to learn, the most pertinent of which seems to be that you need to be able to laminate and correctly sheet the layers of dough and fat, butter on top of each other to be able to create and cook things just enough to get that multiple layered, kind of onion layered version of a croissant that's super flaky and puff pastry-like and all of the wonderful, delicious things that we all love. There is a specific process for rolling the dough that I have to be very specific with, and you'll see in a moment, in terms of doing it into the croissant shape. The proofing process is probably also the third kind of big concept that I need to be able to learn to do well. There's some proofing in the 25 plus steps of Claire Stafford's video that I'm using as a kind of method on how to bake croissants from the New York Times cooking video she posted about a year ago. There's a lot of proofing that needs to happen, dough rising that needs to happen. This is a multi-day process. So this is day one to start, and I'm just going to be making the dough, putting it in a mixing bowl, and essentially putting it in my fridge. Day two, we'll check in, we'll see what happens, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see you in a moment. Okay, everybody, so these are the ingredients that I kind of need to be able to do everything croissant-like. You need your flour, sugar, salt, milk. Instead of whole milk, I'm using almond milk, unsweetened organic almond milk. Instead of active dry yeast, I'm using fast rise yeast, which is a little bit different, but should be good to get our dough started for today. Pretty cool thing that I've always wanted to do is one of these. I've seen this work before, and it's kind of neat seeing this work before, so here we go. Wow, look at that! At this point, I'm putting the covered thing after 45 minutes, putting it in the fridge, letting it cool for about 12 hours. Welcome to day two. So it says now that while I am making the, or letting the dough chill, I am to take 2 sticks of butter and get this down to a 1/2 inch flattened deal. So that is what I'm going to do. So that's a wrap. I just made croissants for the first time, which is really, really cool. I did want to kind of go through a couple of the things that I might not have touched on in terms of why I'm doing this, and the learning materials. I'm following Claire Saffitz off of the New York Times. I've watched the Great British Baking Show's 2011 episode Patisserie in reviewing how to make a croissant, and a proper croissant at that. I've never done a laminating process like this before, but following Claire's step-by-step process on her New York Times cooking video on YouTube it made a lot of sense to me. So my hope is that through this process of cooking at one time, through process of cooking it another time, and potentially a third time for the final presentation, I'll be able to be kind of working on a drill and doing these different things. The thing I think I'm most concerned about right now is the proofing process. The way I proofed it was not exactly the way Claire proofed it in her video. Instead, it was like kind of, I did some proofing that was at 75 degrees, and then I steamed it after it had proofed for a while rather than steaming it before it proofed. So I kind of switched up the order on those things. So that might be something that I change going forward. The other thing, originally in my prospectus for feedback, I was just going to go off of what Libby said, my wife. But I created a Google form after I saw Maddie's, just like any other good teacher, I'm copying what other teachers do. And I want your feedback as well. So I've emailed a link to you today. Please fill out that feedback form. It's tremendous, and enjoy your croissants.